Yeah. And this is a mindset that contractors have had for years, right? And it's one of those things that when I went from being, 9 to 5 to being a contractor, it was one of the things that I appreciated the most is this idea that like the companies and it's a little different than what overemployed is because you're kind of doing this behind the scenes a little bit. But when I became a contractor, one of the best parts was I told each company that I was working with, and there were times I was working with up to 5 different companies, right? And I would say I have other clients, so these are the hours I can work. This is how much time I can put in, and sometimes I'd work short weeks, sometimes I'd work insane weeks. I'd work like 80, 90 hour weeks. When I was much younger and could do it. But there were this sort of understanding that I'm a business and you're a business and businesses respect each other. But companies don't seem to respect employees on average. It's almost like they respect other business owners and other like B2B respects themselves. But like when it comes to them and their employees, it almost seems like there's this sort of there's this promise of family, this promise of we're in it together, we want you to grow. And what ends up happening is it pulls like a fast one on people, right? I've worked with a few people who have hit a point in their life, maybe they're in their 40s, maybe they're in their 50s. They really dedicated themselves to their career early on. They spent so much time and so much effort putting a lot of other things to the side, maybe traveling the world, which made it hard to maintain friendships or relationships, maybe putting even their finances to the side in order to do something that was like meaningful to them because they really wanted to do a certain skill or something like that. And they just sacrifice all these things in order to get to a point. And then they get there and a round of layoffs happens, or they get there and the company goes under and they're left with nothing, right? They're sort of promised this, it's almost like we wish that you could get golden handcuffs these days, which I'm sure that's still out there. But like I've seen this unfortunate thing that's been happening where, the rug gets pulled out from under people and then they finally have a minute to pause and they finally have a minute to reflect on things and they realize like, oh, wait a second, life is different now. I have different priorities. I have different goals. I'm a different person than I was in my early 20s, but I don't have that thing that I thought I was building towards, right? I'm going to go on a rant there, so I'll pause. I'm curious, when you're talking to folks, what are some of the mindset shifts that you're seeing of how people are viewing what a job is and what place it should have in our life, right? Because we're saying get away from the enamorment, right? So what is the sort of new mindset that people should have about the role that work plays in their life versus the kind of like social media, find your passion and dedicate your whole life to something, right? What is the new way of thinking about work in your mind?
Yeah, I think several things. You touched on a good point. I think one is just think about like from a structural financial world perspective, right? Employees are treated like cogs. There's this cost of goods sold. You hire them, you have a budget each year. It's an in-between the line problem. You set a budget. You got to lay some people off to make that budget. You do that. You're going to change some department, reorg some stuff. You do that. It's running a business. That's why you're getting treated like an input to the business, right? Not another business that is running, because that bucket of expense comes from another bucket, and they're dealing with another business, and maybe it's a little bit more variable there, or you're serving some kind of critical function there as a contractor, right? But really, our community is really mixed. People are really just very practical about it. Hey, W-2 makes sense. If it's higher wage, you take that. Got better benefits. If not 1099 contractor makes sense, you take that.